Hello, guys, welcome to today's episode where we'll be discussing the dangers of ransomware in the real world section of the real world happenings. And here we're discussing how ransomware shuts down hospitals and businesses. So, please subscribe to my channel for more educational videos on the cybersecurity and its causes. So, ransomware. Ransomware attacks are among the most devastating cyber threats, capable of shutting down hospitals and businesses entirely. So here is a breakdown of how these attacks unfold and why their impact is so severe. How ransomware shuts down hospitals. What happens during an attack? Now, encryption of critical systems, whereby patients' records, lab systems, and imaging tools are completely locked. There's no access to each of these. Loss of access, where doctors and nurses can't retrieve medical histories, test results, or even prescriptions for their patients. Emergency diversions, whereby ambulances are rerouted to different locations from the original location, or surgeries and treatment are delayed, maybe because of lack of access to tools or lighting, or setups. Next is manual workarounds, where staff revert to pen and paper, increasing errors and delays. This is a graphical figure of how a ransomware attack can pop up on a device system or on an organization mainframe tab. As you can see the heading, you have only 3 days to submit the payment or your files will be lost, and there's a timer below. So how ransomware shuts down hospitals. Now we're going to be talking about real life examples, and I have 3 here. In the UK 2024, the Synovis, where blood testing and transfusions were halted across multiple NHS hospitals, delaying cancer treatments. You can see how dangerous that is. Secondly, in the United States of America, St. Margaret's Health, a ransomware attack contributed to the permanent closure of this rural hospital after 120 years. That's so damaging. Next, in the United States of America also is the Common Spirit Health, where one of the largest non-profit hospital chains suffered outages lasting weeks, affecting over 623,000 patients. That's so loud. Now, how ransomware shuts down hospitals in the human cost the human cost at which it took. Increased cardiac arrest cases due to diverted emergency services, lower survival rates for critical patients, and legal cases alleging ransomware related fatalities. Imagine those that are under life support, whereby in fact their whole maybe their electricity is being withheld or is being shut down. It could lead to the loss of lives. And definitely legal cases, people are going to sue the organization for related fatalities, and nobody cares whether it was an attack, because they believe that a hospital is supposed to have cybersecurity experts that make sure their data, their databases, their tools, and their environments are safe from cyber threats. So this is why ransomware is very dangerous to any sector, any organization in general. Now, how ransomware shuts down businesses. What happens during an attack? Data encryption, yes, whereby files, databases, and backups are completely shut out and are locked from use. Operational freeze, where employees can't access systems or even production halts completely. Ransom demands, where an attacker demands payment, to unlock data. So once the data have been encrypted, the operations are freezed completely to halt. You now get to the stage where ransom now begins. That's the ransom demands comes into place, whereby the hacker or the group they come into the to ask for a certain fee and give a certain timing where those demands are to be met, or they leak information, or they keep maybe operations in that section or in that sector to be under halt. And what does it give? It brings reputational damage. Customers begin to lose trust. Media coverage, amplifies the crisis and makes it more, known to the public, and that affects the organization. Now here are the real life impacts that took place. Now the Travel X in 2020 paid $2.3 million ransom, but couldn't recover fully, eventually leading to shutdown. Hmm. Now in 2021, the Colonial Pipeline, where fuel distribution halted across the eastern United States, causing panic buying. Next, in 2025, the Abilene, Texas, where a ransomware attack disrupted city services and local businesses for days. That's tell you how dangerous this can be. Now, the statistics, in the tabular form, the metric and the value. Now, businesses forced to shut down. 1 in 5 small businesses. Yes. Then next, the average cost of recovery, which amounts to $156,685,000 per incident. Sorry. Repeat attacks after ransom paid. 80% of victims face a second stage of attack, mostly after the first one is concluded. Then brand damage reported. We have 35% of organizations continue to lose their brand or completely shut down totally. So you see how dangerous it is, where businesses are forced to shut down, average cost of recovery, and there's always a second stage of attack most times. So this is a critical infrastructure sectors impacted by ransomware in 2023. Just a chart flow of what took place. Why these attacks are so effective? Yes, because phishing, which is one of the most common entry points, in fact, is used in 45% of cases. Next is unpatched systems. Vulnerabilities exploit for lateral movements, and then human error, where we have weak passwords, poor training, and delayed response to happenings. So these are the things that should be worked on, to help reduce the effects of these attacks.